Can you imagine experiencing your life as easy and peaceful most of the time, even when things around you seem to be in chaos? It truly is a possibility. That is the gift of living with soul and ego in harmony, living in self-awareness without judgment. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is energy medicine. Now, here is the host of Soul Healing with Traci Trimble, Doctor of Energy Medicine, Traci Trimble.
Welcome to Inspired Choices Network, everyone. My name is Traci Trimble, and I'm a doctor of energy medicine. As a bioenergetic therapist, a spiritual guide, and an energy worker, I specialize in treating both the cause and the effects of depression, anxiety, acute stress, and chronic pain from the perspective of the human bioenergetic field. My soul sings when I have the opportunity to teach energy medicine. My go-tos are Reiki, chakra balancing, and Hatha yoga. My gift is the capacity to see through the layers of the energy that surrounds your physical body, called your bioenergetic field. And my superpower is the ability to connect, with your permission of course, directly to the voice of your soul energy, and it guides me to exactly what you need in the moment to do your work honestly. And as a trained talk therapist, I have the joy of also speaking to you ego to ego. And then my job becomes guiding and teaching you in ways in which you can bring your soul and ego back into harmony. And that's important because that's how we heal our earthly wounds. I honestly don't believe that there's actually anything wrong with us. We're simply out of alignment. We are unaware of our truth, and we're trapped in our reality. And that's what today's show is all about. We're going to be talking about the difference between truth and reality, especially from the point of view of energy medicine. In energy medicine, there's a very valuable distinction that's required for understanding the difference between our truth and reality. When I work with my clients, I focus on creating our dialogue from this question: where are you at right now? And its purposefulness is to trigger the distinction between truth and reality. Although that concept, truth versus reality, may seem very obvious, it's actually quite muddled by emotions, by experiences of the past, by our habits and our beliefs. It's actually very easy to be incapable of seeing the truth, and it's also very easy to have the capacity to create stories that cause us harm and suffering, that create drama for ourselves and others, that take us out of alignment. Today, I want to gently explain that the truth are facts without judgment or emotion, and reality is the creation of our perception of what is happening around us, what is happening to ourselves, what's happening to others. And I want to share with you a very big secret. And I want to use a word that I have challenged using with energy medicine, and that word is called control. Energetically, control is an illusion. We don't actually have what we humanly define as control. But what we do have is the capacity through awareness to direct what's happening around us. It's called manifestation or creation. And that is how we control. We can only do that by understanding what the truth is and having the capacity to be able to move through our reality from a place that is not emotionally charged, a place that we are not trying to control others, and a place in which we don't create frustration by not getting what we think that we want. So let's start with what is truth and what is reality. So please remember that as we go through this, I am not Webster Dictionary. I am Traci Trimble, Doctor of Energy Medicine. Pretty much everything that I talk about is going to be from an energetic definition, not necessarily social or an intellectual definition. And I'll do my best to pre-qualify those when they come up. And here we are at Truth and Reality. We're not necessarily looking for the Webster Dictionary definition, and we certainly aren't looking for the social definition. A great example is the difference between truth and lies, which I want to get to in a moment in terms of how those energies control us. So what is truth? Truth is a basic core knowledge. It's fixed energy. It doesn't change with time. It doesn't change with experiences, and it isn't changed by habit. It is what it is. It exists at all times. In order to experience truth, we have to witness the whole story from a place of our highest good, as opposed to simply witnessing from the point of view of the main character in a story. Truth is an awareness. It is a depth of knowing. Energetically, it is our purposefulness. The challenge with truth is that it is different in terms of the way in which it's perceived by every single individual. My truth may not be your truth. And again, I'm talking energetically. So, as many of you know, if you listen to my show on a regular basis, my out of alignment energies are anger, they are blame, and they are disillusionment. To me, those are gifts. That's the truth. However, in my reality, they cause me pain and suffering when I refuse to listen or I resist the message that they're giving to me. So, socially, those three energetic elements that are part of my purposefulness can be labeled bad. That's not true. They aren't bad. They are basic cores of knowledge meant to guide me, and they only cause harm and suffering when I ignore, avoid, escape, or resist them. So it's not true that they are bad, but often I can experience them in my reality as, ooh, that feels bad. When I'm doing that energy to other people, when I am in anger, in blame, or in disillusionment, it will also feel bad to them. So reality is the perception from a singular point of view, from the point of view of the main character who is laser focused on a very specific energy. That energy is judged as either good or bad. I can experience an event that you are standing beside me. So therefore, you too are experiencing the event. That's true. I can go home and say, that was the most amazing day I've had in years. And you can go home and say, that is the worst day of my life. We were at the exact same experience. How we perceive that experience, how we base our judgment on our physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual capacity to understand where we're at in the moment. Reality is ever changing. It's a temporary energy. And what's so important to understand about that temporary energy is because it is that temporary, it is not true, it can be changed at any moment. In any given moment, should I choose to stop believing that that was the worst day, I can shift my mindset into the energy of, that was the most amazing lesson ever. Have you ever experienced something and right away labeled it horrible, but as time went on, you realized the gifts and opportunity that it gave you, and it becomes one of the most important shifts or transitions in your life? That's the truth. That judgment deemed horrible is actually an opportunity that becomes amazing. The truth is, all along, it was an opportunity that was going to change everything. But in the moment, we perceived it as horrible. Gifting yourself permission to know the difference between truth and reality allows you to step back in moments of out of alignment. It allows you to see the story in its entirety from multiple points of view. For example, last Friday, I had a little rage attack. I'm not even going to tell the story because that's not fair. I'll break it down this way. I wanted something to happen by a very specific timeline. It didn't happen for an actual very good reason, but I wasn't told the reason. I was strung along. I was told that it was going to happen, not to worry, not to worry, not to worry, and all of a sudden the day came and it never happened. And I was angry. And of course, it was always someone else's fault. And in the process of my rage, my blood boiled, my face went red, and I was going to lose what I call my kapoopy. I realized that I was in a moment of creating a reality that wasn't going to serve me, that it was going to cause a lot of drama, and I was going to be someone that I said I don't want to be. And I was able to step back and look at the whole picture. And the whole picture was the person who said that they were going to do that had a wife who also needed something in the exact same timeline. And of course, he did the right thing. He served the one he loved to the best of his ability. What he didn't do is tell me that he wasn't going to be able to do my job because his wife needed something, which, you know what, maybe I would have understood, maybe I wouldn't have. But in that moment, I realized that if I needed something from my husband, and I asked for it, and he said to me, I've promised somebody else something, I would actually say to him, please unpromise that. Please unpromise that and help me. I'd want that from him. I'd expect that from him. The truth was, I was angry because I wasn't getting what I wanted. I blamed someone else because they didn't give me what they said they would, which in reality sucked, but in truth is exactly what I would have expected should I have been on the other end. And in that moment, I was able to calm myself, give myself permission to be angry because I didn't get what I wanted, and to express myself in a kind and compassionate way that all you had to do was tell me the truth, instead of allow me to create a reality in which now I don't like you. I know that's harsh, but that's the space in which truth and reality become manageable through awareness. Reality is our judgment. based on what's happening physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It's where we're at in a moment of time where we will either choose to be in alignment, we will choose to be who we want to be, or we'll go out of alignment and we'll choose to be who we don't want to be. Our reality is created by us and only us. How we react or respond to others is on us. It's none of our business what others think, feel, or do. It's our business how we react and behave. And the truth is, there is always a whole story. And this world doesn't revolve around the singular main character called you. So it is up to you to become the witness of the whole story from the highest good, to determine your truth, what takes you in and out of alignment, so that you have the capacity to create your own reality. It's time for our first break of the show. When we return, we're going to talk about how we create our reality and why it's so important that we have the capacity to do that, especially as we begin to consciously and with awareness take this spiritual path called a spiritual being having a human experience. You're listening to Soul Healing with Traci Trimble. I thank you so much for being with me. Again, when we return, we're going to talk about a spiritually based positive mental attitude and how to create it. We'll be right back.
Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me, for taking the time to learn, to heal, to grow, and to hopefully share what you're learning with those within your inner circle so that you have the capacity to prosper through self-awareness, so that you have the capacity to wash away the sick and tired feeling within your physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual experience. Before we went to break, we were talking about the energetic definition of truth versus reality from an energy medicine point of view, from a place where we have the capacity to heal ourselves through awareness. I want to talk to you why this knowledge is so important. What having the capacity to distinct between truth and reality gives us the capacity to create and maintain a spiritually based positive mental attitude. When we are in that space, we are in as much control as we actually can be in this space and time called human being. Here in human being, we have an energy called worthiness. And we are either being abundant, believing that we are worthy, or we are being lack, believing that we are unworthy. And that worthiness is dependent 100% on the point of view in which we are navigating the outside world, the place in which our judgment and criticism is coming from, the place in which we are accepting and allowing, or resisting and avoiding. Distinguishing, yes, I did say that. Distinguishing between truth and reality is important because what we believe is exactly what we receive. If you think that something is true and it's simply a reality, you're going to continue to create your reality from that point of view. Our thoughts are things. We think something. It's a spiritual energy called intuition. But it then begins to percolate as a mental awareness. It becomes words, it becomes actions and inactions. And those actions and inactions, we create feelings around those that become our beliefs, and our beliefs become our habits. And those manifest into physical matter, into our reality, into how we experience from the point of view of either in alignment or out of alignment. In alignment, it's our truth. Out of alignment, it's the reality. Evidence of this is rampant, and I would like to offer you this opportunity just for today, just for one single day. And I'm borrowing this idea. My apprentice, Stephanie, is currently in the process of challenging her Facebook fans to do this. And it's been absolutely incredible to watch. She has been on the lookout for hearts. The truth is, there are heart-shaped elements in places we could never imagine. The reality is, we don't see that. So we don't believe how incredibly abundant heart-shaped energy is. For example, in strange ways, she's found heart shapes everywhere. One day she was driving and she got stopped in traffic behind a trailer that you put horses in. And she looked up and realized that the paint had peeled off the back of the trailer in the shape of a heart. She took a picture of it. The other day I was treating a client who lifted her arm, and on her arm was a mole that I've seen 20 times. It was in the shape of a heart. I would have never noticed that. I didn't ever notice that. But on my mind was looking for heart-shaped energy in places I would never expect. And guess what I'm finding? I'm finding hearts everywhere. If you look for it, you will find it. Your attention and your awareness makes it real. It was always there. It was true. It was a fixed reality. But you were incapable of noticing or recognizing it because your reality did not have awareness for it. When we have the capacity to recognize the difference between truth and reality, we're controlling from the inside how we are affected by the outside world, by our influential others. If I choose to find the most positive, that is what I'm going to find. My example before break of how angry I was last Friday, I allowed the reality and my emotions to get a hold of me for a moment. In the past, that moment would have taken me into weeks, into months, and possibly into years of not having respect, kindness, or compassion for that particular person. Because it would have gotten away with me. I would have compounded all kinds of evidence that that person was bad. That's not true. But it was my reality. And in those few moments, which might have been close to an hour, but in those few moments, the reality got a hold of me. It started to pummel me. I realized what was happening and I said, no, thank you. My spiritually based positive mental attitude that I have worked out for years, that is strong, kicked in. And basically, without going through this 1 hour conversation that I'm gifting to you, it's exactly what's happening. My soul and ego came together and said, hold on a minute. We're not witnessing the whole story. We're stuck in this single point of view. We're stuck in the, oh, poor me. And I knew that instantaneously because I know me now. I know that my out of alignment energy is anger, blame, and disillusionment. And my in alignment energy is passion, purposefulness, and balance. And all I had to do in that split second was say to myself, where are you at right now? Are you in alignment or out of alignment? And I knew instantaneously I was out of alignment. Therefore, I needed to choose to step out of that singular point of view. I had control the inner environment, the only environment I have any control over, so that the external environment wasn't controlling me. We have no control over our influential others or the outside environment, but we do have 100% control over how we perceive what we receive. And what we are receiving is based on our self-awareness, in our knowing who we want to be, in knowing our core values, our in alignment core values and our out of alignment core values. In that moment, soul and ego were about to go out of alignment. And they snapped to and said, no, that's not going to happen. And I came back into harmony, not only energetically, but also through my awareness. It's essential that we understand who we want to be, what our out of alignment core values are, and what our in alignment core values are. I offer a complimentary 45-minute session called The Story, in which I share with you your energetic truth. There's no obligation to you. It is a complimentary session, and I will gift to you, through reading your soul, exactly what your out of alignment energies are so that you can do your work honestly. And then I will sell to you a program called Discover Authentic Self. It's a process in which we determine the contract in which you sign to come to this space and time as a spiritual being having a human experience. And in that, you will be gifted your in alignment core values. So through the story, for absolutely no charge, but an investment of 45 minutes, I will gift to you your out of alignment ego energy story. So as you will recall, because I will say it hundreds of thousands of more times, my out of alignment story is anger, blame, and disillusionment. My purposefulness, my contract with Source for my experience in this space and time is passion, purposefulness, and balance. When you're ready to know yours, when that time has come for you, reach out to me. Book your 45-minute complimentary session. You can do that at www.tracitrimble.youcanbook.me. That's tracitrimble.youcanbook.me. When you are ready to know the difference between your truth and a reality, this is your opportunity. It's time for us to go to break. When we come back, we're going to talk about how you master truth and reality, how you create or manifest your experiences. You're listening to Soul Healing with Traci Trimble. We'll be right back.
Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Traci, and you're listening to Soul Healing with Traci Trimble on Inspired Choices Network. Our show topic today is truth versus reality. And I know that it can get confusing, but I also know that it is important to navigate your way through that confusion. That our truth is basic core knowledge that's fixed. It's our capacity to witness the whole story from the point of view of our highest good. It is our capacity to be aware of both our in alignment energy and our out of alignment energy so that we know in any given moment exactly where we are at. Reality, however, is the perception that we are in that moment. The perception from a singular point of view of the main character. And of course, in our personal experience, we are the main character. But every single human being on this planet and the planet itself is the main character in its own story. So in order to navigate those stories, we've created judgments, we've created habits, and we've created beliefs. When those judgments, habits, and beliefs are based in our out of alignment reality, harm and suffering is created, drama is created, and we get caught up in it. We're human. That's part of the human experience. Getting caught up in it allows us a lesson. That's what we came here for, is to experience thoughts, feelings, emotions, free will, and autonomy. Those lessons are our gifts. We're not meant to stay in them. We're not meant to stew in them. They are not meant to be our reality. They're simply meant to experience our truth in or out of alignment. So how do we master truth so that we can also master reality? Because here it is. We don't control anything. It is what it is. It's energy. It's always moving. It's always in motion. The acronym for God itself is grow or die. And that's us. The spark of God source within each of us is perpetually moving us away or from something. Growing or dying. That's our purposefulness here on this planet. So we want to stop trying to control what we are seeking to find. And we want to start mastering our reality, mastering how we perceive our in alignment energy and our out of alignment energy, and shift that perception from a singular point of view into having the capacity to witness the whole story. In order to do that, we have to be specific about the quality of experiences that we're willing to have. We also, because time is real for human beings, we have to master timing. Gift yourself permission to be in that moment, whether it's in or out of alignment is irrelevant. But set yourself a timeline and allow that timeline to get shorter and shorter and shorter with every experience. In order for me to experience this moment in the fullness, I need to see both my out of alignment capacity, anger, blame, and disillusionment, but I also have to see the opportunity for my in alignment, passion, purposefulness, balance. And then I get to choose. Am I going to be in alignment or out of alignment? And that's mastering. Controlling my point of view is how I master this space and time called human being. And in the process, I'm gifted with the capacity to cultivate an inner environment that has a foundation based in safety, security, and support. I am always safe, secure, and supported no matter how a situation appears, because I do not allow my safety, security, and support to come from outside influential others. How you are handling your situation should not have an effect on me. It will in the moment, but how I choose to respond to it is entirely within my capacity to master my reality. And it comes down to understanding our rules. Rules are bullshit rules. That phrase was coined by one of my mentors and most favorite spiritual guides. His name is Vishen Lakhiani. He's the founder of an incredible organization called Mind Valley. And he's the author of the book Code of the Extraordinary Mind. If you are ready to reprogram yourself from that singular point of view of main character into the witness of the whole story that is responding from the highest good point of view, please read this book. What I crazy love about the Code of the Extraordinary Mind is that when you purchase it, you also get access to an online program that helps you to literally decipher where you're at in each of the most important areas of your life. It allows you to reprogram your ego's non-beneficial energy into your soul's beneficial energy. So it allowed me to get extremely clear in every area of my life where I've created my perception of reality from anger, blame, and disillusionment. And it allowed me to shift every single one of those categories into being aware of my passion, my purpose, and balance. In doing so, a lot of people, places, things, scenes, situations, and scenarios that really seriously were a cause of harm, not because of them, but because of the way I perceived them, melted away, bringing me an abundance of peacefulness and of ease. Isn't that what we're all looking for? Are we not all looking to create in our experience peaceful easiness? What if, through self-awareness, through the capacity to distinguish a moment of truth versus a moment of reality, that we indeed have the capacity to create peaceful easiness? I'm going to tell you right now that the only thing stopping that natural flow of peaceful easiness is the energetic agreements that we've made with our own self and with influential others, agreements that don't serve us. Some of those agreements include the disease of having to please others at our own expense, or the opposite, the pendulum effect of that disease, expecting others to please us at their expense. Both of those are the energy of lack, specifically lack of worthiness. They are a reality. They're not true. Every single one of us is worthy of an empowering human experience. And I know that because I hear your soul speak to me. Every single one of us was once a spiritual being that signed a contract to come to this space and time to experience, through free will and autonomy, human being. Therefore, We all have the right to peaceful easiness. I'm not saying that that peaceful easiness won't have its challenges, but when you recognize the challenges and you get out of them in record time, they become valuable lessons that you're grateful for. That you can break agreements that don't serve you. You can accept or reject what you're gifted, especially by your influential others. A very powerful phrase that I teach my clients, and there is, of course, energy work and metaphysical education behind this statement, but it's the statement of no thank you. That causes me harm and suffering, and I refuse to do that to myself anymore. This is especially powerful for people who do have the disease of having to please others at their own expense, because that's the very bottom of reality, and it is challenging to move out of it, but it can be done. And it starts with saying no thank you. Out loud, even, if you have to. Imagine someone asking you to do something and you're like, oh, I don't want to do that, but I should, I must, or I have to. And so you agree to do it, either verbally or energetically. And it causes you a great deal of harm and suffering, and it hurts you. And you're angry or sad, or whatever your energy is. What if you had the courage to have said to them in the moment when the thought became a word that became a lie, okay, no problem, I'll do that. What if you had the capacity in that moment to say, oh, yeah, no, thank you. I've decided I don't do that anymore. It causes me too much harm and suffering. What are they going to say to you? Oh, that's okay, do it anyway. Harm and suffering is fine. Yeah, that's okay. Nobody's actually going to say that to you. Nobody is actually going to say that to you. And that's where our reality begins to create lies. Lies are thoughts, words, chosen actions and chosen inactions that we know are going to hurt us, but we do it anyway because we believe that we should, we have to, or we must. We create a belief system that we are shame, we are not worthy. And that lack of worthiness attracts to us people, places, things, scenes, situations, and scenarios that give us evidence that we're not worthy. So remember in the second segment when I shared with you my apprentice Stephanie's mission of finding hearts, guess what? She's finding dozens, if not in the 20s, every day. If you're looking for pain and suffering, you're going to find pain and suffering. But if you're looking for peaceful easiness, you are going to find peaceful easiness. It's time for our third break of the show. When we return, we're going to go through the next steps. What's next? What are some of the things that you can do to begin to change your vibration from trapped into reality to aware of truth, so that you can master both truth and reality? You are listening to Soul Healing Circle with Traci Trimble. We'll be right back.
Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Traci Trimble, and I'm a doctor of energy medicine. My purposefulness is to guide, teach, heal, and protect individuals on their journey of self-awareness. My passion is the cause and effects of depression, anxiety, and acute stress. And what brings me balance is doing my own work honestly. Well, I help you do yours. And that's who I am. Before we went to break, we were talking about creating and manifesting our experience from the space of truth, our highest good, and from reality, a single point of view. What I'd like to share with you before we wrap up today is some of the ways in which you can begin to discover the truth and the reality in your own personal experience. This is a tiny bit of a sales job because this is specifically what I do. But there are amazing books, online courses, and other energy workers near you that can support you in this journey. But it starts with learning how to find different perspective, a way of finding how to find your truth. Your truth is how ego navigates the outside world, and your truth is how soul navigates the inner world. When you find that perspective, you're going to be able to ask different questions, and most importantly, the question of, who do I want to be? And in order to be able to answer that, you must know both your in and out of alignment energy. If you're ready for that, please reach out to me. If you have any questions, email me, Traci, T-R-A-C-I, at Traci Trimble that's not true, sorry, Traci, yeah it is, sorry, Traci, T-R-A-C-I, at tracitrimble.ca. Next, you want to begin to orient yourself to the energy of gratitude. Find the opportunity in every lesson, whether you've deemed it good, bad, beautiful, or ugly, there's something in there for you. Find it, give thanks, and consume it. Most importantly, you need to know that if you seek it, you will find it. Do Steph's challenge. Find hearts somewhere today. Be attentive to everything in your environment and find them. Next, you want to be living from a positive point of view, where yes, you are the main character, but you are consciously aware that you're also the witness of a bigger story, of your role in others' stories, your role in the story of the planet, in the story of the universe. But most importantly, it's time. It's time to reprogram your mind, to reprogram yourself from being stuck in a reality that you have no control over. And that's not true. It's simply real because that's what you're experiencing. Find a different perspective. Ask yourself who you want to be. Orient to gratitude. Know if you seek it, you'll find it. And create a spiritually based positive mental attitude so you can reprogram your mind. Well, it seems like that's all the time we have today. As always, I am incredibly grateful to have spent this hour with you and to do that each week. I trust that you got exactly what you needed from me today, and if forever you have not, then simply email me your questions, your concerns, or your ideas. Join me next week as we discuss self-aware versus selfish. One of the most challenging parts of self-care, especially at the beginning, is to understand the difference between being self-aware and being selfish. Specifically to others, it appears to be the same, but for you it's life-altering. We're going to learn how to deeply take care of ourselves without guilt and judgment, So until next time, give permission to be self-aware without judgment.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Soul Healing with Traci Trimble, PhD. We hope you'll join us. Until then, give yourself permission to learn, share, heal,